to me, it's like theater. Okay. And it's been so consistent with the cards. That's why I don't get excited about it. You guys probably notice. But if a lot of people ask me, I'll do a card reading on it. And this is for you guys because my intuition already told me what's going on. But again, I've been proved wrong, by the way, with my intuition. So it's probably good I'm doing a reading on it. Okay. So it's for the general population. So the reason they're doing it is for the general population. Okay, they need our eyes on these two guys. According to this card, these guys are eliminated. Okay, so it's a facade. The whole thing's a facade. The whole dinner was a facade. They needed eyes on, surrender to. They need eyes on. Something's going to go down, not right away, but soon. Okay, so they got something lined up, and see that Two of Swords? It's like they're waiting when to pull this one off. Something really exciting is going to go down, and it will involve these people. Okay, so maybe arrests. That'd be exciting, right? I'm going to pull two clarifiers, and it'll be in the public eye, and they need eyes on these guys. Okay, they need you guys to remember what a bunch of criminals these guys are. You know, so something really unexpected happens to these. Both of these guys are billionaires, so that would make sense to that card. So all of a sudden, things go sideways for those guys, and they're just getting them back in the news. Kind of what I figured. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And now I'm going to do a day by day today so today's Friday, the 5th, September 5th, and we're going to go till Monday. Okay, so let's start with today. Okay, so we've got the Four of Pentacles. So interesting, because we're all waiting for secrets to come out. We want names of everybody that was involved in pedophilia and all kinds of gruesome things they were doing on Epstein Island. And we want information. We want so many things. We're waiting for so many things to come out, so many truths. And this card's like, and they've been lining up a lot of that. They've been working on, see that Eight of Wands? It's like they've been sending out feelers, like testers testing us to see how much we know, how much we're ready to know. I feel like that's been going on by the White Hat Alliance for a long time. Okay, what we want to know, we want the veils to lift, but they're not quite ready here. So they're still like hesitance. That's a hesitance card. Okay, and the Magician. So today we don't get all the truth out. That just makes sense that we don't today. Like I wasn't feeling like today was a big drop day. Continues with the theater. We could even get something really obviously in your face theater, kind of like what was happening at the White House there. It's pretty obvious that's theater. Okay, but even more, what's going on in Canada is an utter theater too, like unbelievable with that guy coming out, that police chief or whatever he was, coming out saying that basically you're a sitting duck, and be a sitting duck when people come into your house to rape your kids, steal your stuff, and kill you. You know what I mean? Oh, just run and hide and call the cops. Like, how long does it take the cops to come to calls like that? Like Canada is insane, you guys. Like big stuff happening in Canada that's absurd. We're going to get more things like that. And I believe this is theater. And it's not nice theater. We're not having fun with the theater. It's not like let's eat some popcorn theater. It's more like a horror show, frankly. But it's like they're ramping things up to be so bad, look so bad. Like in the news, things look like every country has gone to absolute shit. I just want everybody to notice that that's happening, right? Every country looks like it's about to explode. And do you guys remember that road trip I took? I won't say the whole story again. I know that's probably annoying to you guys at this time, but think about it. News going worse and worse and worse and worse as I went. Road conditions are going to get worse and worse and worse. Road conditions literally got better and better. And if you really look at what RFK's accomplishing and how many slowly but surely they're absolutely coming out with everything that happened in COVID-19 bullshit, everything that happened in the pandemic lockdown, stuff's all coming out, like stuff's happening over here. Okay, and getting better over here, but looks worse and worse, literally, when you look at the news. Okay, so the psyops gone off the scales, but all of these cards look like it's meant to do that. And then all of a sudden something happens. So something's bound to break here, and it breaks out all of the truth. Okay, so it could be who knows, like aliens showing up, even if it's a fake alien invasion. It could be like another lockdown, something that they pull off, and then all of a sudden we get, which would be awesome, where they come out with all the truth on a media platform of some kind. So, you know what I mean? Like we've been talking about this stuff for years, but something's going to come and just blow everything wide. Not today, though. Okay. So we just keep ramping up BS. And you could see by the end of today, something just so absurd. Okay. So watch for it and let us know in the comments what it is. Okay. Let's keep watching, keep our eyes open for it. Something's going to be just off the scales absurd today. Well, I mean, that's happening every day. So that doesn't surprise me at all. So let's look at the 6th here. So this will be Saturday. Today's Friday the 5th. We're going to look at September the 6th, which is Saturday. What can we expect? Let's have a look. So a government agreement of some kind, governments coming together, government agreement, could also be something kind of goes a little shaky financially in the financial world, and a lot of governments are talking about it. See, when you get these two cards here, these are about people making agreements and coming together. Big news about maybe more tariff agreements. And I know they're not known as agreements, but there's a lot of agreements going on because tariffs are brought up. And by the way, all countries charge tariffs. Okay, like this is bringing a lot of attention to the truth about tariffs and how they're really happening all over the world and always have been. Even Canada, some of the worst at tariffing. Do you know what I mean? But of course, because Trump admits that he's using tariffs, everybody, starts saying, "Oh yeah, it's almost like he's the only one in the world doing it." So not true. It's like people need to do their research and homework. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we've got the Ace of Pentacles, some big money news here, some big kind of money news. And it leads to a change, not a very big one, but a change in, like we can look forward to a change in the financial system. And it's not as big as what we want, but the news leads to down the road changes in the money system that'll be to our advantage. And even the regular folks are going to see this coming. Okay, but before that all happens, things will go down that will seem to hurt you financially, okay? Because we're getting a whole new system coming in that's completely different than what we have right now, okay? And I don't believe it's the nasty system that they had planned. Like you guys know I don't believe that. I believe a whole system's been already created in the background and it's been running alongside the one we have now. And I don't call it the quantum financial system, okay, if it turns out to be, but that's not what I call it, okay? I believe it's been created, and it might not be exactly what some people call the quantum financial system, but that doesn't matter. What does even that mean, the quantum financial system? Okay, I'm just not going to use that language because it feels like a lot of culty kind of energy around the idea of that. I don't know. I just don't like it. I keep away from it. I don't like the title of it because it feels like a lot of truthers are using it to kind of lead people in directions that feel I don't know, not true somehow. Anyway, so that's just why I'm just staying away from it, because I feel like there's some kind of scam related to that and some of the truthers that bring that to the table. So I kind of keep away from it, but other people are using the title of it, and maybe they've got a point there, but that's all remains to be seen. Okay, I'm not going to call it that. Okay, here we're going to look at, so that was the 6th. Now we're going to look at September 7th. This is Sunday, September 7th. I don't always pick the middle pile. Somebody was asking about that. I just let my hand fall. And if you use your left hand, that's your intuitive. So when I sit down with a person individually, when I used to, because I don't do it anymore, but I used to do readings daily, many, and for years and years. And I would sit down with people in person, and or if it was on a video, I would ask them which one of the piles do they want. And then, but when they chose it themselves, I had them use their left hand and then point to a pile with their left. Now, the reason readers often say point to a pile with your left, it's your more intuitive connection. And your left hand will choose differently than your right hand, by the way. And try the experiment. Shuffle your cards if you have a deck, and use your right hand to choose, and then shuffle again and use your left hand. I'm telling you, your left hand chooses differently. Okay, so let's have a look at, this is Sunday, the 7th of September. So we've got the 3 of Pentacles. So a like this can be a money and building. So there's building conversations and news around the financial system and finances somehow. But that can be seen every single day. But something really specific, maybe that this audience will notice. Okay, that's usually how these cards are speaking to you guys who's watching on the regular. Okay, that's the higher universe knows who you are. Okay, so I'm picking up on our sort of community. You know what I mean? Okay, so we've got some veils lifted here, financial news that could be a lifting of the veil. So more information about how it's like dying, or how it's a system that doesn't work for humanity. So more news about what doesn't work about the financial system. So that's interesting. Okay, because then we've got these 2 cards clarifying this financial system, more news about how it's dying, or sort of the death of it. So some kind of evidence here. And even the normies are going, sorry, I'm using that word again, even the regular folks are going to notice that something's maybe not right about this, like the regular banking system that I know will be replaced by something else. Even if they still use banks, I feel like these guys have agreed to come on, not all of them, but a lot of them have agreed to come on to a whole new way of doing things. So in the past here, we've got the Empress. So that's interesting, the Empress and the 3 of Swords. So something that was abundant, or has been talked about as abundant, but will look like, it's almost looking like something gets taken away, or things get looking worse. And by the end of the day, it could take till really late in the day on Sunday, all of a sudden. So a big scare. So I'm going to say a big scare and a reveal around the financial system, or something involved in finance that a lot of people are looking at, looks bad. And then by the end of day, boots up and looks good again. So it's really interesting. And what it really shows you is how something was controlled by the deep state, and the control's been taken off. So some kind of reveal through actions that go on during the day financially, about who's really controlling what. And interesting, I got a feeling silver might be involved. Okay, so watch silver. Maybe it takes a drop and then comes back up again by end of day, or takes a drop, or maybe it even goes up and reveals how it's been tethered and really manipulated by deep state banks and banking, okay, because they short silver. So look this stuff up. I didn't know anything about this. And it actually, as soon as silver goes up past a certain amount, first of all, it'll keep going up. That's what they're saying. And we're already at that point, apparently. But they also say it untethers silver from their manipulation, the deep state banks. And they get shown for what they really are. And it tanks them. Silver could tank the banks. So that's interesting. So something does show, and I'm not promising it's silver, but something shows the real system and how it works. And it kind of looks really sketchy during the day, and by night on Sunday, by late in the day Sunday, something comes back up again, and or it's almost like something shows its skirts and then rights itself by end of day. But really it was meant to just show you what these guys have been up to and how they're going down. So we'll keep an eye on that. Interesting. Wow. Lots of financial stuff. Okay, let's look at September 8th. That's like a hidden information, hidden big secret of information, hidden something like, wow. Okay, so unexpected information that's been hidden. What happens with unexpected information that's been hidden? Okay, so something comes out in the news that's been long hidden from humanity. Okay, unexpected, it's unexpected, or people will find it really hard to believe. Regular folks hear about it too. It's not just this community. Okay, so, and it'll be very conflicting for a lot of people. This community will celebrate that news because something comes out that we've been really wanting to come out. Some big truth gets pronounced. Maybe it'll be about vax deaths. Maybe it'll be about, so they've been really working on that. That's just building and building, you guys. Those kind of things build and build, and they get in the back here somewhere, in like some in the psyche of even like regular folks. And it's going to be hard to hold back the information at some point. It's already getting to that point, and all across, like the 100th monkey thing will happen, and everybody will know they were totally that their own government and medical system was trying to kill them. Already a lot of people know, and a lot of people suspect that are regular folks that took the vax, okay, and the boosters, and everyone's starting to really it's literally ready to just explode any day now. And I feel like we get closer to that, whether it's about that or any of the other, so many secrets, but something comes out, and we're happy because we've known it for a long time. That's been long hidden from humanity. And it really gets people up in arms because people don't want to hear this, whatever it is, because they're going to have an internal battle about it. So to me, it sounds like it's probably medical. Some truth about what's been going on anyway to us medically. So if you think about it, that could be so many things. That could be like, it's been really outed that the chemtrails are real. It's been, think about all the good things that have come out and that can't be avoided anymore. And it's brilliant. We need to celebrate those wins. Well, we'll have another one of those wins, it looks like. Thank goodness. And thank you so much, everybody. And thanks again, Coco, for coming on in the morning here on your day that you're going to be so busy yourself. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Did they know? So let's have a look at this Pentagon info that says they made contact. That's a soft yes, by the way. And that's a chariot. So that's interesting. The Chariot is a bit reckless and or something about the travel. So maybe the contact they made. Well, let's just keep looking. I need more cards to describe why would the Chariot be there. Okay, so we've got 7. So they certainly were strategizing to make contact. Then there's some kind of contact made, because that's a soft yes or a small yes. It's not a hell yes, it's a small yes. So many people don't even have a clue about this. So friends and relatives, like, who have no idea, share this, share the memes around this, share any information if you can, if you're that sort of minded and you have a social media presence at all. I think it's important that people do know, because I feel like this is real. None of this looks like fake to me. These 2 cards are interesting because it looks like the public don't really know anything about it. And it's been really strategically put out there, where they likely knew, it looks like they knew about this long before. And that's going to be my next question. How long did the Alliance know about this? Okay, so there's some kind of contact, there's some kind of yes to, they've made contact, whoever they are. And then the Chariot is interesting because it's about some kind of recklessness or some kind of taking a real risk. Maybe it was a real risk to make that contact. Maybe it was risky, or the energy. I don't know. I got to see what's underneath. That's boggling my mind there. Hang on. So we've got the Hanged Man is underneath. So contact, some kind of contact was made. And it took, oh, I see. Okay, so contact was made. And there's still, so there's some kind of connection was made, but it looks like they're still trying to decipher what it means. So they don't really, the message is not clear, but they feel like the thing was trying to contact or make them, give them a message. And the message might have been relayed through the movements, because this card can be about movements and travel. I feel like the way it moved after they put out there, hey, tell us who you are and what do you want. I feel like the movements of the craft was the way they decided it's making contact and answering our question. Maybe it didn't come through the airwaves, because I'm not seeing airwave cards here. So I don't think it came audio, and or any kind of physical, like, I guess it would have been a physical sign because it's in the movements of the craft. Does that make sense? So the movement that they got, when you look up in the sky and you feel like there's crafts above. Mark Atwood and I, when we were with the Truther Tour and we were traveling in a car for hours and hours and hours with this other wonderful couple, and we were traveling through the desert, I guess, so New Mexico. There was a few times where either Mark Atwood or myself or the other members in the car would feel like there was a craft above us. So we would stop, get out of the car and look up. And there was a few times when, and so Mark apparently does this a lot. He's a truther from the UK. Well, he's actually in Ireland. But anyway, he would look up and say, well, give us a sign, like blink at us, whatever. And sometimes they would, like you'd get actually movement, really erratic movement all of a sudden, or blinking. Okay, I feel like that's maybe what happened here. Okay, so there's contact made, but it's not literally like they're out there, speaking their language to these people in the Pentagon. So that's the way they're in, interpreting the movements of the craft as the contact. Okay. Now the Hanged Man, so they're still trying to figure out, well, what exactly is it saying to us with those movements? And that's going to take time. So they're still trying to figure that out. And I feel like with this card here, the Knight of Swords, they're definitely going to be anticipating the craft with the good military. And that doesn't mean they're going to be aggressive, but it does mean that they're going to be ready for anything, just like I felt like the craft was ready for anything. And boy, I hope this doesn't go sideways. Now, the next question I wanted to know, so that looks like it's true. What Carrie Cassidy put out there in that piece of paper looks like it's true. It's real. Okay, so now I want to know, how long did the Alliance know this thing was on the way? Because it takes years to travel the distance it's coming from. You know, I mean, I know these things, maybe the time is different for them, right? These crafts, like energetically, maybe they're using a whole different system of time. So maybe for them, it could be a blink of an eye. I don't know how it works. And of course, all of that. So, we know, I'm sure the Alliance knows a lot more about it than we do, but certainly for me, it's like, wow, so many possibilities there. But let's just have a look at, so the White Hat Alliance group, how long did they know in advance this thing was coming? Was it years? Was it months, weeks? Let's have a look. Wow. So they first heard about it through the information they sourced from the deep state dark cult. So when they first started investigating the deep state dark cult, they heard it secondhand. So they didn't directly know about it. They heard about it from records kept by the deep state dark cult. And I thought that was true. I feel like Project Looking Glass was originally used by the bad guys, and then the good guys caught on to it and started using it or utilizing the information that it was giving the bad guys. Okay, so I feel like that makes sense. So now we've got the Knight of Pentacles there. And, we're not seeing, I'm not really, hang on here. We got a lot of twos. I'm thinking 2 years. So they've known about it for 2 years. I don't know, that doesn't seem long enough. I'm going to pull 2 more because maybe I'm reading these twos off. Okay, it seems like it must have been more, but I mean, if we get more clarification on that. Okay, the truth about it. Okay, no, there's clarity on the date. Okay, at least 10 years ago. So they knew about this 10 years ago. They first heard about it, and they heard about it when they were spying on and decoding information they acquired. I don't know. There's lots of ways they could have acquired it. When they first started really digging into what these bad guys had planned for us, remember? And then they have been all along, created a plan. Like they've been around. White Hat Alliance input on this war that's been going on. It's been going on for a long time. And the White Hat Alliance has been involved, I believe, for at least 20 years. Maybe more. So it would make sense. It could be 10 plus years they already knew about this. So they knew, but it was a far distant thing, and they were seeing it secondhand through the eyes of what the deep state had recorded about it. So, wow. Okay, that is fascinating. So when they say they didn't have time to do anything, I don't know if I feel like that's not true. I feel like that part of the story of it, we don't have time to do anything about it or interject. I feel like that's not true. I feel like the real thing is maybe they know it needs to come. Maybe they know this thing is part of the Great Awakening and that it actually has to come. Okay, so they're not trying to stop it from coming. That feels right to me. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got going on at the Academy here, the annual Midsummer Sale. Okay, so all my workshops, all the good people on Beyond Mystics workshops are on for 50% off. There's the code SUMMER50. Okay, so that's very exciting. And also Feng Shui 101 home clearing. Live Q&A with Ashella is coming up here, and she's got a 10% code with that. So very exciting things on the Beyond Mystic Academy. Go on over to that site when you're done watching this video. Okay, now my second thing I want to look at is around, let's see, Edgar Cayce. Okay, so Edgar Casey, like the sleeping psychic, some people called him. He had lots of ways people referred to him, but Edgar Casey would go into kind of a sleep trance. I mean, correct me if you got better information on this, but this is what I've read, and would like intuit a bunch of stuff and come back out of his trance and write it all down and share it. Okay. And he predicted a lot of things that are actually happening. I mean, the way he would say it might not be directly in the way we might see it, but when you decode it, a lot of things he talked about and predicted have come true and are coming true. Now, Edgar Casey, the thing I want to ask about him, these famous people, and he was very famous, very well known, could be a part of the cult, and could be like, because we know all the music industry, okay, all the genres of music were created, or at least it appears that according to the cards, they were created to manipulate the population. So your rock and roll was, for one kind of a MK Ultra kind of thing, your hip hop, your gangster, rap, your blah, 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 everything, all of these genres were created and manipulated by the deep state dark cult, by the, Satanists, basically. And I want to know, was this guy involved in that? Was he a member of that cult? Was he a Satanist himself? What's going on? Was he a good person? Was he was he an independent from these guys? Okay, so we're going to look at that around his intentions towards humanity, and was he associated with any bad energies like that directly? Was he handled? Those are the kind of things I'm asking. Okay, interesting. So we've got the Four of Swords, which means something was hidden from him. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that is very interesting. That is fascinating. Wow. Okay. He was manipulated. Okay. This is, oh my goodness. Okay. He was manipulated, you guys, by dark forces that didn't mean good for humanity. Okay. And they were using him. So his channel that he didn't know about it. Okay. But it looks like by the end of his life, he figured it out. This guy was being used. So he went in there trying to be truthful, and he thought he was getting this good information. Yet I think at some point in his career, they started using him. So some kind of entities started using him for bad. So some of his information was planted, not all of it, because the the three swords, 3/4 of what he said was true. Now we had a planted deep, fake stuff that he was fed for manipulation purpose. He looks like he figured it out and then distanced himself somehow, or tried to distance himself. Okay, so before his death, I think he figured it out. But that is absolutely fascinating. Wow. Okay, so throughout his career, they probably picked up on the light, so he entered spiritually, how intuitive he was, because they're always looking for that. It's like they can pick up on that. And unless you've got a really good, solid chart that keeps you protected, or it's not your karma, this is my belief. So this is only just me saying this. This is what I believe. It's not your karmic lesson to be manipulated by them, then I don't think you will. But he looks like he was, but only part of his information was fed the bad stuff. Okay, and I bet you that does happen with these really famous people. That is absolutely fascinating. But it wasn't him doing it on purpose or being part of the cult, just to be clear. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching my video. Again, if you like my work, this show is a short and sweet show, and I can't get to half of them. So let us know in the comments what your views are on this whole thing. Okay, so that's a White Hat Alliance card. Absolutely. And there's the Sun card. Okay, so I feel like they're being playful and even having fun with it. I feel like they're actually They already know. So yeah, woke is dead. Okay, they already know. Like they're not even trying to take it down anymore. They're almost like now they're having a little laugh about it. Now we've got humor coming from the White Hat Alliance. In the past, though, and in the last couple of years, and there's been lots of examples of this, they've actually made a lot of fun of the whole woke thing. They've just made it look ridiculous. So it's absolutely true. And there's going to be more of it too. You're going to see more things coming out where it becomes really obvious that this is absolutely something that's being used by the White Hat Alliance. Okay, so it's like they're using something. They took over something. I believe that I'm correct about it with that ace, also with these three major arcanas in that row. Okay, so this has been an agenda of the White Hats for a really long time to just show you what this deep state bunch is all about. Okay, in a deep way, most humans don't really think like what that woke agenda is pushing. They don't think like that. It's really obvious when you see that this jeans company, for instance, is being applauded for actually just being realistic about what does real advertising look like. Anyway, go have a look at all of these, and let's have a look at this last little video I found. And I found it amazing. I sent it to everybody I knew, but I want to share it with all of you. Let's listen to it. It's just a few minutes here, a couple of 3 minutes.
Only us minorities are allowed to be proud. Only we're supposed to be happy about our race and how we look and our heritage and our culture, but white Americans, Caucasian people in the US are not allowed to be happy or proud about how they look. I saw the Sydney Sweeney ad for American Eagle, and I genuinely didn't see anything wrong with it. What's wrong with white people being proud about being blonde and having blue eyes? All I see on social media are minorities being super proud about who they are, speaking about it, jumping up and down, talking about it all day. But then white people are not allowed to be proud about their heritage and how they look. It's the hypocrisy for me, because we're the ones always pushing this equality and this fairness thing, but I guess it only counts when we're excluding white people. And that is such a hypocrisy. White people and white Americans are human beings. And at some point, we have to stop judging them and attacking them for things that some of their ancestors did 50 to 100 years ago. They have a right to live in peace, and they have a right to be happy, and they have a right to be proud. Okay? Not every white person is a KKK member. Not every white person's racist. Okay? Not every white person is prejudiced or full of hate. And they deserve to live their lives just like we live our lives. So if a white person doing something bothers you as a minority, then that's not a race issue. It's a self-esteem and self-love issue. You have to look within yourself and see, why is it that this white person doing something is affecting you? As a Hispanic and a woman of color, I have never seen a white woman do something that makes me feel uncomfortable about myself to the point that I need her to stop. And one of the reasons why is because I absolutely love myself. Not from a narcissistic standpoint, but from a proudful standpoint of being happy about where my family comes from, my heritage, my culture, my races. And I don't need other people to stop living their lives or walk on eggshells to feel comfortable. So instead of us trying to race bait and cause more division than we already have, how about we teach our young people to love themselves, to accept themselves exactly how they are? How about that? Because that way, when we have a generation of people that are full of self-love from a healthy standpoint, they're not going to feel the need to tell other people to stop being themselves. And another thing, there's certain brands that have always catered to certain races. And anybody who grew up in the 90s, you know that Aeropostale, Abercrombie & Fitch, and American Eagle have always catered to the white girl aesthetic in the US. Just like there are certain brands that cater to Hispanic and African American women, tend to our body types more. And there's certain fashions and brands that cater to Korean women and Japanese women and those type of body types. These brands that I mentioned have always catered or just been more favoring of the white girl aesthetic, that all-American blonde, thin girl that doesn't really have much hips, much butt. And that's okay. We all have certain brands that tend to favor one more than the other. That's okay. I honestly don't understand what the uproar is about. Why people have a right to be proud. They have a right to love themselves. And as some people may not want to hear this, but yes, blue eyes and blonde hair tends to belong to that race. And they have a right to be proud about it. Just like we're proud about our curly hair and our nice hips or whatever, they have a right to be proud about how they look too. Less division, more unity, and more love. That's what we need. So let me set this straight.
I just love her. I just love her. Yeah, I want to meet her. She's saying exactly the truth. Anyway, I really thought we should all listen to that. And let's have a look at what the Beyond Mystic team's got planned for us here. We've got some Ascension Organites goodies. Big sale, annual midsummer sale. Oh, by the way, this is actually the workshops on this would be on the Academy. So the annual midsummer Academy workshops. Anything that was put out or launched before August is all on sale. Okay, so 50% off code, summer 50, which is a brilliant deal. And then Ascension Organites also has t-shirts. Okay, these are fun. So we've got the one with my logo on it. They're the Sending Ravens, and also the Beyond Mystic logo. So the t-shirts are, what does she have? 10% off code. Beyond Mystic is the word for the code. Thank you so much, guys. And now the second part here, I want to do, and this is a lot of people tell me this is what they really like and need. So that's why I'm not necessarily doing 2 news questions in these shows. I'm asking the universe now, because we're in such crazy times, because there's psyops coming at us from all sides, from the good guys and the bad guys. We're literally living in a strange, like the online world is mostly psyops. Anything you read, you have to, put through your intuitive knowing, take with a grain of salt, and really look at with both one eye and then the other. That's known as the crow law look, right? So where you're like a crow, you look at it with one eye closed and really examine it. Okay, that's called crow law. That's what we all need to practice right now, discerning crow law and a real intuitive knowing about things. Try to just feel what's going on and don't take anything at face value. That's what times we're in right now. And if you look astrologically, it actually makes sense to the astrology. But we are moving into a more clear time. Okay, this is just, we're going through a foggy time. The dark night of the soul's happening. Okay, so I think we need a lot of support through these times. The community needs a lot of support. So I'm going to ask the universe what it wants to tell us as we walk. Some people find it treacherous right now. I find it fascinating and interesting. I don't find it treacherous, but people write me all the time, and it's fearful for them. They don't like change, and they're not as flexible. I gotta be thankful for my personality type. I can actually be really pretty good for a Taurus ox. Like, I'm pretty flexible, at least flexible in, okay, once I get my grounding on something, I can feel my way around things, and I don't take it personally when they're not the way I thought they were. Okay, and we've all got to learn that. We've all got to learn that right now. Because things are turning out not to be the way we were told, and not always, when we first looked at them, we thought they were this way, and yeah, they're not. Even this community is going to be surprised, I think, when all the truths come out, as they come out. Okay, so here's what the universe wants to say. So a little support and love from the universe. We've got the Magician. Wow. Okay, so recognize that there's a lot of theater out there. Yeah. Exactly what I was just saying. And open-heartedly look at it, right? So try looking at it just with an openness to, I wonder what this is all about. Curiosity and openness, instead of like, oh, not this again. Oh, you know what I mean? Instead of going into it assuming you're not going to like it, go into it with a curiosity and a fascination, even with, wow, well, this is interesting. Just decide to be fascinated and interested, as opposed to resisting the the change and resisting knowing something you didn't know before, right? Okay, so there we've got, and that's a carefulness card in the past. Okay, so things have been rolled out slowly and carefully on purpose because I believe the White Hat Alliance knows this is hard. They know this is hard on us humans, and they know that our psyche could really be hurt if this wasn't done properly. I really believe that. So I still have faith that that's what's happening. Okay, it's just my feeling. Okay, there's more things coming that could be hurtful. There's more information, and regular folks in particular, so maybe not from this community, because this center line is the regular folks and sort of what we used to call normies. I'm going to get away from using that word if I can, because so many people are more on the fence now and actually more open to, okay, I don't think things are the way we thought they were. So even what I used to call normie friends are actually starting to really wake up, even though it's slow. But once it goes, though, it'll really go, right? And that there's going to be hurtful for them. And we've heard this before. We've said this before in the cards. But it's just warning us. There are going to be a lot of broken people for a while. They're going to feel really broken. Okay, so a little bit of kindness, a kind word, and don't be surprised maybe at how, surprised they're going to be, okay? Because for us, like a lot of this will already make sense. We're already I think we're 3/4 the way there, but there is still a chunk we don't even know. Okay. And you might even, if you find the energy, maybe even sit down with one or two people. If you did that with even one or two, take the time to actually sit them down if they feel open to it and maybe help them along with it. So a little bit of kindness here and a little bit of support through it. Maybe even send them in the right direction, what videos to watch. One of my favorite ones is Fall of the Cabal, that many part series by those two Dutch women. I can't remember their name right now off the cuff. But anyway, that video is fantastic. The timeline video is a really good one if they're open to, maybe learning a different side of who Trump is and what the White Hat Alliance is, stuff like that. So just feel out, what videos that you've seen that really helped you understand at the beginning. Maybe turn them on to some of that if they feel open, obviously, not if they're closed to it. I'd say it's like, when I look at it, it looks like a 50-50 between Obama and Hillary Clinton. But, and I often get it'll be Hillary, but hey, maybe we got some good intel here. Let's have a look. So we've got an ace on the question, and I'll tell you, an ace is a yes. So I feel like it's absolutely a potential that he's the first, and it's coming soon. I'd say that his intel is right now the way it stands. And of course, we're in a war. We are in a spiritual and an information war, of course, right? We all know that. And things can change and move on a dime. Things can, things can shift and change really quickly. But right now, how it stands, that's the plan. Yeah, you bet that's the plan. And I'd even say in the next 3, that could be days or weeks with that card. Wands can be days or weeks, usually if you're looking at them for timing. Okay, now the 2 of Cups here in the past, so it'll definitely be a double. So the real Obama was rounded up. So whoever it is going to be a double of they're going to play out the arrest of Obama. Okay, that's how I would say that. And now we've got the Lover, so there's a lot of people in on it. There's a lot of shaking hands in the background. Everybody that'll be around the scene, including the actor playing Obama, everybody knows what's happening. So I don't think it'll surprise anybody who's actually on scene. It's going to surprise the public. It's not going to surprise us. If this goes down in public, I don't think anybody in this audience will be that surprised. And see that strategy card? There's still room. So it's the plan. So yes, he got good intel, but there's still room for monkeying around, moving things around, because this card here says If everything lines up strategically, it's a big yes. But of course, things have to line up strategically. So it's a moving situation, but it's looking really like, yeah, that is for real. Wow, that is really exciting. I can't wait. Like, bring it on. I say we need something like this right now in the community because there's so much crazy going on both in June and July here with Trump seemingly, a lot of people thinking he's going off the rails, and is a lot of people sort of jumping ship and or talking against him, even in the truther community. So it's pretty interesting what's been going on. But I'll tell you, this could really pull everybody back on page and get us focused, to get this accomplished, what we're trying to do, which is clean up the world here so we can live peacefully and free as free people. Oh my goodness, like not enslaved by these systems. Okay, so what are we shouting out today, Coco? I forgot to ask her. She'll put it up for us. What do we got to shout out today? Coco. Where she be in the background? Oh boy. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it looks like we have a Floraline Farm creation here. 10% off this beautiful collection here with code PAW10. New Trails and Paw Collection. Okay, tails, sorry. No, it says trails actually. But it looks like, yeah, that's a shampoo. I'm just the first time seeing this. Wow. She's also, it looks like, got a lip balm and a mist, a face mist. Wow. That is amazing. Okay, and also Jupiter in Cancer Lucky Charms. Now, this is from the Beyond Mystic website, I believe. No, it's the scorplingshop.com. Yeah, scorplingshop.com is putting on this Lucky Charms, Jupiter in Cancer. I guess it looks like a collection of stones. Wow. All right. And there's 10% off on that too. Use the code Beyond Mystic. Right on, guys. Okay, sorry I wasn't too ready for that. Yeah, it's hard getting back in the saddle and doing a full work week again. Woo! Okay, now this second look that I want to do is actually I'm going to use the medicine cards. You guys remember I did a medicine card. There's a whole course on the medicine cards on the. It's on the Academy website. So if you ever want to go check that out, it's really cool, right? Medicine cards are sort of a gentle, they have a whole different philosophy than tarot. Okay, and they talk more archetypally about how to behave in certain situations, what will get you your best results. That's how I like to use them anyway. And what I'm asking here is, what does the universe need us to know going forward in these crazy times? Okay, like it has literally been so hard to navigate. We have to stay so grounded and just personally checking in. Okay, and I'm personally using our own discretion, discernment, and also just using our own intuitive knowing. So sharpening up any kind of intuitive skills you have already. Okay, that's a really good idea, but a lot of us have been doing that. Okay, but even with that, things have been really hard to navigate lately. So we're going to ask the medicine cards, what kind of energy or medicines, okay, that's how the cards would speak anyway in this deck. What kind of energies and medicines do we apply to get through the rest of July? Okay, because yeah, we don't have that many days left in July, but it's still every day crazy stuff's happening. So we're going to need some advice on that. Let's have a look. So that's ourselves. So we're the beaver in this. Now that's an interesting beaver in the medicine cards is very community minded. In fact, there's a lot of Taurus energy to beaver. Beaver is like the kind of energy that puts family and tribe first, okay, and really works together as a team. But if somebody is disrupting the family, even if it's somebody close to the beaver person or the person using the beaver energy, they get run out of the tribe. So that's really interesting. So it does feel like people are being very discerning about who they're listening to and who they're giving their time to, and also being very protective of, their social group and what they consider tribe. So that's interesting. I would agree that this is naturally my energy anyway. Okay, so it's saying that this community that's watching, there's a lot of people in this kind of energy. And here's what the world's offering. Okay, and this will be the past. In the middle will be what the normies are doing. And the near future card's going to tell us how to behave. And this will give us some advice on how to do that. Okay, just the best way to be here right now. Okay, I must have had the whole grouping here upside down. So yeah, I'm not going to read them upside down. So there that we've got the bear. Okay, so the bear has a lot of hidden things and deep caves, so knowledge and deep hidden things. Okay, so the world is full of all this deep knowledge, things we have to really go searching for, because the bear doesn't give things up very easily, right? There's deep introspection in the bear. Okay, and I feel like all of humanity right now is really looking at some deep truths about what's been going on, maybe since the beginning of time, maybe for thousands of years. We're not sure. I'm not even sure if timing is correct in the way we understand it. But anyway, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole just yet, but that's for a whole nother show. But yeah, so many things have changed for us, and even our history's changed. So this makes a lot of sense, because it's saying there's so many deep mysteries, and we're just scratching the surface of it. It goes way deeper, and there's so much more to know. Even this community is going to find out. We don't even know. We're just scratching the surface too. Like, it's one thing to be a total normie in all of this, okay? I almost envy them sometimes, their blissful ignorance, okay? But even this community is, I believe, going to really be surprised at just how deep the rabbit holes go and how much we still have to learn about what's been going on. It's going to be amazing. Amazing and kind of intense and wow, right? The judgment card comes to mind, right? Okay, so here we've got the deer in the past. The deer is trust. This was humanity. I was like the deer person for sure in the past. The deer is trusting, loving, and just wants to, get on with life. There's a loving energy to it. It has a real trust. So therefore, a lot of predators, unfortunately, right? We didn't even know how many predators were around us as humans. We didn't even know our government and all our officialdom, our medical industries, our schooling industries, all of these big industries set up by officialdom, and religions, organized religions, we're all predators, preying on our vulnerability and our trust and innocence. So that makes a lot of sense. That's in the past. Here's how the normies are feeling. Oh, that's interesting. Crow law. This is like a justice card. So there's a lot of waking up going on. I feel like this is happening on a deep, deep level. This is a crow law card. So many things are happening so blatant in people's face that even the deeply sleeping are not going to be able to avoid seeing it. And I feel like this is actually good to see this card here in the middle. Okay, wow. And then the skunk card in the near future. So skunk's about reputation. And skunk's really interesting, because if you're putting out something, it's about walking your talk. and being true to your like your truth and your true self. Okay, so if skunk doesn't walk its talk, it starts smelling up the room, basically. Okay, it's also about it's interesting because skunk can also talk about putting out energy, okay, that you're like being aligned with certain energies, and having to, it's basically about integrity. Okay, so if you're putting out a certain vibration and energy field, okay, and you're not deeply aligned with that, you're going to be found out. So the skunk energy card talks about people outing themselves who aren't fully aligned with. So say you're just giving lip service to all the woke stuff. Say you're just giving lip service to open borders, but literally if someone came with a busload of people from the border that needed a place to live, you would be wanting a gated community for yourself, that sort of thing, right? So walking your talk and being true to your what you're putting out there. So there's a goes around comes around with that skunk. And I really feel like a lot of people who aren't walking their talk are going to be discovered as the frauds and fakes they are. And that's not just in the government, that's in everyday people. I feel like a lot of people that have given lip service to things that they don't deeply align with and haven't thought through and aren't really, in agreement with, but they're just trying to be liked by others, or it's almost like that whole woke culture that wants to be okay with everything, even though the things they're putting forward are just getting more absurd, and so against, really healthy humanity. Anyway, I think that a lot of that is going to really blow up in people's faces, and people's real stench is going to come out. That's how I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so here's the advice. So besides walk your talk, or you'll start stinking. People are going to figure it out. Okay, there's hawk. Okay, so not just walk your talk. Hawk, this is one of my totems, actually. Hawk speaks out its truth. So intuitive knowings, they just let it go. Like they let what they intuitively know out their mouth. Okay, so hawk is a messenger. And they bring a message too. So when they feel something really deeply from a deep truth, they out with it. So I feel like we're not going to be able to keep inside ourselves our truths anymore. So the universe is saying, don't keep your truths inside. If you have something you know about, do let it out, and find ways to do that. Not everybody's brave enough to get on camera. Okay, but there's ways to do it. You can put it out in just voice pods. You can put it out in memes. You can create memes. You can educate one at a time. You can share your information with one person at a time. Like, it doesn't have to be, a big social situation, if that makes you nervous, right? Not everybody's cut out for that. Okay, and the hummingbird. Don't forget to actually find joy in your everyday life. So even though we intellectually know things are crumbling, the system's crumbling, things are being replaced, things are being replenished. I believe that in the background. Okay, and there's a whole lot of things going on in the background that we don't entirely know about. Have enough trust in your own personal process to find some joy in your daily life. This is a flitting, joyful card, the hummingbird, and finds joy and beauty, in the world around you. So make sure you, and of course we know hummingbirds love flowers, right? Stop and smell the roses, stop and smell the flowers, all of that, all of those kind of sayings. You know what I mean by that, right? Yeah. So don't forget to enjoy life in the meantime. Okay. Because we're all going through this together, but it doesn't mean we stop everything else. And don't forget to notice what's joyful around you and what is happening that's to the positive, because actually there's a whole lot of that going on too. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. And sending you all ravens. Don't forget, make sure you're subscribed. Tarot by Janine. If you like the work I do, you want to come on over to my channel, tarotbyjanine.com.
Gọi là lấy gà theo gà, lấy chó theo chó, lấy cái đòn gánh thì ôm lấy nó mà đi. Nếu không ai thèm để ý tới, đặc biệt là chúng ta. Công chúa Vĩnh Thuần hất cằm lên kiêu ngạo nói: chúng ta là công chúa, hoàng gia là đại diện thiên hạ, là con gái của hoàng gia lại càng phải làm gương làm mẫu. Đương nhiên. Chu Thường Nhi cười 2 tiếng ngượng ngùng. Vậy chúng ta làm gì đều không tốt, mau trở về thôi. Đã nữa chờ công chúa trở về tầm cung không thấy chúng ta, nói không chừng sẽ nghi ngờ. Vĩnh Thuần đảo mắt bỗng vỗ tay nói: về để ta cho ngươi quan sát xem. Chờ tới khi tuyển được phò mã vào cung, chúng ta sẽ đi xem. Tỷ không phải đã thích Dương rồi chứ? Chúng ta tìm một người tính tình tướng mạo tương tự như hắn, nói cho mẫu hậu biết người trong lòng tỷ. Vẫn là ta chú ý nhiều, mau về thôi. Chu Tương Nhi cúi đầu nhìn xuống chân mình, ánh mắt có chút hơi dại ra. Nàng ngẩng đầu lên nhìn công chúa Vĩnh Thuần đã đi xa rồi, lúc này muốn vội đuổi theo. Một bộ cấp sự trung hoàng thành đang quét tuyết được đỗ phủ phân công cùng với tổ của Dương Thật. Một xúc tuyết, một sách giỏ, thấy hai vị công chúa quan tài đi tới, hoàng thành mắt phải bầm tiếng đỡ giỏ, nhắm một mắt lại hỏi: ấy, vị phía sau nhìn trang phục cũng là một vị hoàng thân quốc thích, nhận ra không? Hai má Dương Thần bị cha mình đánh cho đỏ ửng lên, y tức giận xúc tuyết đổ lên giỏ, lại đền chặt xuống, cố ý làm cho chiếc giỏ nặng hơn. Lúc này mới ngẩng lên nói: biết đó là tiểu quân chúa của Thục Vương phủ, sắp được tấn phong làm công chúa. Dương Thần nhổm người lên, bàn tay lạnh đắp trán, nhào mắt nhìn. Tiểu quận chúa đi đường, sao lại có chút như bị tập tễnh? Dương Lăng rời khỏi cung khai hoàng, Liễu Đại Bồng Truy lên tới nhanh tiếp nói: cô công, người phái ta đi truy tung tích của Hồng Đức Tử đã mất dấu rồi. Cô ta quá là thông minh, xuyên qua đường phố đi vào ngõ ngách, người của chúng ta lại không dám bám theo quá gần. Hơn nữa đường tuyết, kết quả là... Dương Lăng gật đầu nói: thông báo xuống, sai người đi về phía Bá Châu truy xét. Còn nữa, điều tra tình hình chính trị quan lại Bá Châu. Ngoài ra cử thêm người trong điểm theo dõi Chu Tức An. Hắn ta từ binh bộ lĩnh điều lệnh xuống phía nam. Hồng Đức Tử có đến 8-9 phần là tự trung ám sát. Đưa thêm vài người nữa, không được để nàng giết chết Chu chỉ huy, cũng không được làm nàng bị thương. Vâng. Liễu Đại Bồng Truy hoắc tay gọi một tỷ vệ tới, thấp giọng dặn dò. Dương Lăng quay người lên ngựa, cao giọng: đi Chư Vương quán. Ngồi trên ngựa, Dương Lăng thầm nghĩ: thôi Lão Đại chúng tên mà chết, xem ra không thể là giả được. Thời Nhi theo đuổi Chu Đức An tới kinh thành có lẽ cũng thực sự là vì báo thù, nhưng nàng tới thì mình không khỏi quá đột ngột bất thường. Hồng Đức Tử là người thế nào? Một câu hào khí ngất trời nào có thể hình dung hết được người con gái hiếm thấy đó. Hàng chục vạn quân bao quanh, nàng thản nhiên phá thành mà ra, tiêu dao quay lại không hề khiếp sợ. Ở Đại Đồng, biểu hiện của nàng càng tân quắc không thua gì đấng tù mị. Rốt cuộc là cái gì khiến cho nàng trở nên nhu nhược bất lực như vậy? Nàng nhất định là có hành tình lớn. Có lẽ Dương Hổ vô sỉ phản bội, mình và nàng nghiệt duyên trời xui đất khiến cho nàng thực sự có tình cảm với mình. Nhưng với tính cách của nàng không thể dễ dàng đi cầu xin người khác, nhất định là còn có chuyện trọng đại. Có thể là chuyện gì chứ? Ngựa đã tới ngã tư đường phố, chính là hộ Từ Gia mà lúc sáng sớm hai người đã gặp nhau. Gió tuyết đã dừng, khi tuyên vẫn tung bay. Người thì nơi nào, người đó ở nơi nào? Oanh Nhi, ta thực sự muốn dùng cả đời này để bù đắp cho nàng, nhưng ta không thể giúp nàng làm chuyện ác. Ở nàng đó là thù giết cha không đội trời chung, ở ta lại là một vị tướng lĩnh có công được ca ngợi. Đứng trên lập trường của ta, bất luận thế nào cũng không thể bỏ qua vương pháp để nàng giết người được. Nếu ta làm như vậy có khác gì với Dương Hồ vì tư lợi mà không từ thủ đoạn chứ? Ta là quan, nàng càng muốn làm tặc, giúp nàng mất đi lập trường của ta, không giúp nàng mất đi nàng. Vì sao mỗi lần gặp nàng liên lụy tới nàng thì ta đều không thể không đưa ra lựa chọn? Ở ngoại ô kinh thành là như vậy, Đại Đồng là như vậy, ở đây vẫn thế. Dương Lăng dừng ngựa hồi lâu. Trong tiệm vắng vẻ, trong lúc mơ hồ dường như đội người mặc áo đen gọn gàng còn đang ngồi ở đó, nhìn chăm chú, sau đó lại rót chén rượu, sau đó hắn thúc ngựa nhẹ nhàng đi đến. Mãi cho tới khi người dân đầu phố đều kinh ngạc đứng ở góc chỉ trò xì xào bàn tán, Dương Lăng mới ảm đạm thở dài thúc ngựa quay đi. tăng lự đao tình tồn phạm hành, nhập sơn hữu khủng biệt khuynh thành, thế gian an đắc song toàn pháp, bất phụ Như Lai, bất phụ thành. Cả tam đắc đạo còn vô cùng phiền não, ta sao cầu chuyện gì như ý chứ? Hồng Minh Tử, chúng ta binh đến tướng ngăn, gặp chiêu phá chiêu, xem là làng ma cao một thước hay là mỗ ra đạo cao một trượng. Khi Dương Lăng chạy tới chỗ vương quán, đúng lúc thấy một chiếc xe màu đen từ bên trong lao ra. Tất Chân tươi cười, dừng trong cung đình viện giống như vừa mới tiễn khách vừa qua lại, thấy Dương Lăng liền dừng lại. Xe ngựa cùng hướng với Dương Lăng, mơ hồ nghe cái tiếng ho khan trong kiệu, âm thanh còn rất trẻ. Dương Lăng liền đi vào sân xuống ngựa, Tất Chân đã bước lên tươi cười nghênh đón. Quốc công gia, hôm nay đại tuyết ngài vẫn còn tới. Ngày mai là lần tuyển chọn cuối cùng rồi, sau đó dẫn vào cung xin hoàng thượng và hoàng thái hậu đích thân xem. Hôm nay còn có thể không tới xem sao? Đã là lần cuối cùng rồi, định ra 21 người chứ? Không phải 21 mà là 22 người. Tất Chân mỉm cười nói, là con trai của ngoại trưởng Phố Hình Tạng, Phố Tây Cận Phố Ảm Lâm Thần. Ảm Lâm Thần là một quan lại nhỏ, nhưng con trai của ông ta thì rất tốt. 16 tuổi đã trúng cử nhân, là công danh cao nhất trong số 22 người này. Những thiếu niên khác chỉ có 2 người là tú tài. Vừa rồi chúng ta đã xem qua rồi, con người cũng mê thanh mải tú, nói chuyện cũng rất là nho nhã lễ phép. Chính là chiếc xe ngựa vừa mới ra ngoài cửa đó. Dương Lăng nghe xong mà cảm thấy vui mừng, cảm thấy trong lòng thoải mái không hết. Đối với ba huynh muội Chu Hục Chiếu, tình cảm của Dương Lăng tuyệt đối không chỉ là quan hệ giữa vua và thần. Hắn coi Trình Đức như huynh đệ. Đối với hai tiểu công chúa đáng yêu này cũng xem như người thân, đương nhiên là mong muốn Vĩnh Phúc thực sự có được mái nhà hạnh phúc. Được kịp công chúa tuổi nhỏ, cho nên số tuổi của người phò mã này giới hạn cũng phải nhỏ một chút, từ 14 đến 16 tuổi. Trong số những thiếu niên như vậy, muốn có công danh thực sự là quá khó. Nghe thấy hình dung của Tất Chân, cậu bé này điều kiện thực sự rất tốt. Dương Lăng quay đầu lại nhìn, đứng tiếc nói, đáng tiếc, nếu ta thấy sớm một bước thì có thể tận mắt thấy rồi. Hoàn dừng ra cho ngươi và ta trọng trách như vậy, cũng phải làm thế nào để Thái hậu, hoàng thượng và công chúa điện hạ hài lòng mới được. Đúng vậy. Tất Chân mỉm cười, đưa Dương Lăng vào phòng, vừa nói, chàng thiếu niên cử nhân trẻ tuổi này tên gọi là Ảm Dạ, gia giáo cố nhiên là tốt, tướng mạo cũng tuấn tú, đại học xuất sắc nổi tiếng. Chúng ta thấy đã vừa ý rồi. Vốn muốn để y ra mắt nhìn chút, ngộ nhỡ công gia hoặc cầu gia tới có thể tận mắt nhìn, nhưng hiện giờ y đang có bệnh trong người, ta sợ trì hoãn ngày mai lên tuyển liền có thể để cho con họ về trước. Có bệnh à? Bệnh gì? Dương Lăng bỗng dừng bước, chợt nhớ lại vừa rồi trên xe kiệu đi qua, quả thực là đã nghe thấy tiếng ho. Tất Chân để nói, không có bệnh gì lớn, người đọc sách mà, cơ thể yếu ớt, trời lạnh chút là bị cảm mạo ho hắng thôi. Trong nhà đang bốc thuốc điều trị rồi. Họ vốn định trị xong bệnh mới tới, nhưng mà đây là ngày cuối cùng rồi, không còn cách nào khác, phải tới báo danh. Dương Lăng nghe nói chỉ là cảm cúm, lúc này mới yên tâm. Phía Bắc Kinh Sư, 4 mùa rõ ràng, thời tiết không rõ ràng khiến cho người ta dễ bị mắc bệnh. Từ khi vào Đông Kinh tới nay, Kinh Sư mới là đầu đại tuyết. Nhưng ngày này thời tiết khô ráo mà lạnh, người cảm cúm không phải là ít, ho như núi sụp đất lở, có người còn ho ra máu, ho đến mức đau bụng. Dương phủ có Cao Văn Tâm, trên dưới trong nhà đương nhiên là không thể xuất hiện tình trạng này. Trong phòng đều dùng giấm chua hun, mỗi người còn dùng cháo thuốc để ăn. Bên ngoài cũng không có phúc khí này. Hôm nay trên điện văn hoa trình diễn võ hành, thiếu 12 người, 4 người đi ra ngoài làm việc, 11 người còn lại đều là nghỉ bệnh. Dương Lăng nói, cảm cúm thì không sao, chỉ cần điều kiện tốt là được. Nhờ Nghi đã trị bệnh rồi, nếu được chọn thì phải đi gặp hoàng thượng. Lại vừa ho vừa chảy nước mũi, Thái hậu nhìn thấy sẽ có ấn tượng không tốt, thế là sẽ bị không trúng. Tất Chân siết chặt sấp ngân phiếu trong tay áo, cười nói, vẫn là đại nhân nghĩ chu đáo. Những chuyện này chúng ta sẽ chú ý, không có chuyện gì thì không cho y lộ diện. Trên đài đáp xong rồi thì cho xuống ngay, tại hạ đi dọn dẹp một chút, không thể thất lễ được. Tài liệu của y đều giữ cả lại chứ, còn có 21 người khác nữa, đều cho người cầm ra đây. Ta xem trước xem, trong lòng có phải có chút chuẩn bị. Vâng, quốc công gia. Tất Chân khoát tay. Vài tên sai dịch của Trung Vương Quán liền mang đống hồ sơ tới. Tất Chân cười nói: những người này là tài liệu của người vào tuyển cuối cùng. Lai lịch gia thế đều được ghi rất rõ ràng. Có bảo giáp lý lịch chính ấn tay đảm bảo. Mỗi người cầm vẽ một tấm chân dung đặt vào bên trong hồ sơ. Những người này tất cả đều là ngũ quan đoan chính, gia thế thanh bạch, có thể làm thơ văn. Đại nhân mời xem. Đại nhân trước tiên chính là tài liệu của chàng thiếu niên cử nhân ám dạ vừa mới rời đi. Công chúa Vĩnh Phúc cầm kỳ thi họa, thơ từ ca phú đều thông thạo. Thì một vị tướng công là người không có quan hệ thứ thanh sắc, hắn sớm muộn cũng sẽ trưởng thành. Nhưng nếu có văn hóa của cả hai bên mà cách xa nhau quá, như vậy tương lai có tiếng nói chung mới là lạ. Tài học dù không phải là điều kiện quyết định, nhưng lại là nền tảng cơ bản. Ám dạ là một cử nhân duy nhất trong số những người ứng lệnh triệu tập. Dương Lang rất có hứng thú với y, liền lấy lý lịch của ám dạ tự viết. Nét mực vuông vắn, chữ cũng rất là rõ ràng, không tầm thường. Dương Lăng chính là học thư pháp, thấy ảm công tử chữ viết thể kim, lòng dạ ngay thẳng, bay bổng phóng khoáng, giống như cỏ thì không phải kêu lên một tiếng hay.